The term midlife crisis is a very glamorized, corporatized term. I would like to call it midlife awareness. Most of the time, if you observe career paths of most professions, when they take on a career path, it's usually because everybody is doing it, or that was the only opportunity they got as a fresher, and they get stuck in it for a long periods of time, and then within 2 to 3 years marriages happen, EMIs start kicking in. Suddenly people start realizing this is not what I want to do. Is that why you feel stuck? Because your current job can't pay for your lifestyle expenses anymore, and you're just repeatedly doing the same thing. Now you're just bored of it and you're tired of doing the same thing.
There are few people who would think that I can do more. So what is that more? How do people figure out what is it more for them?
92% of all the people who claimed that they're leaving the organization because of their boss never even spoke to the boss about the problem. Every job is a legal contract. Of course, they'll make it look like we are family. Some cultures are great. They do treat people like family. But most of the time, it's a for-profit business. They are in the game of business. They're not your family. The world is all about balance now. It's no longer about this or that. Why can't you have this and that?
Hello, welcome to MetaFox Career Talk Show. Today, we have Mr. Teja Gudluru with us. We will try to navigate how to come across such midpoint in our career, and then once we come across such situation, how do we navigate through the process of building our own career in a better way and growing from that point to XYZ point. This is what we are going to talk about in this podcast. I am looking forward for an insightful conversation which will be helpful for you. Let's start our show. Hi Mr. Teja, how are you doing?
Very well, ma'am. Thank you for calling me again.
Thank you. That's our pleasure. We have been getting a lot of insights from you. So now, people have been doing a lot of roadmaps with regards to it could be artificial intelligence or full stack developer or many with regards to IT. Now, I would like to explore one roadmap, which is a mid-career. Okay, if somebody, whichever role that person might be, he or she is stuck in that role and that job,
Right.
and then not having any idea how to grow from there. So now you have to help me understand, and the audience too, how to navigate from that crisis moment to the growth.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So now there is somebody thinking that one employee is there in the organization who is with this development career or any other career.
Right.
They wanted to grow and they are stuck.
Right.
Please help me.
So first of all, the term midlife crisis, right, is a very glamorized, corporatized term. I would like to call it midlife awareness, right? Because most of the time, if you observe career paths of most professions, when they take on a career path, it's usually because everybody is doing it, or that was the only opportunity they got as a fresher, right?
Okay.
And they get stuck in it for a long periods of time, and then within 2 to 3 years marriages happen, EMIs start kicking in, and about 30, 35, 40, it depends on how aware you are, self-aware you are, suddenly people start realizing this is not what I want to do. Right?
Yes, most of the people. Yeah.
That's when awareness starts happening. So it's not really a crisis, it's actually good news, because it gives you an opportunity to do what you would like to do, because you're more likely to succeed when you do what you like to do. So that's one to begin with. So
Okay.
while yes, the general term is midlife crisis, in my head it's a mindset. And with that mindset, I'd probably spin it in a positive way to say it's midlife awareness.
Okay.
In terms of, is it common for IT? I don't think so.
Yeah,
I think
it's for everyone.
Exactly. And now add a layer to that, which is the ever-changing job markets. It only makes it more complicated for most people. So that's how I'd probably look at it.
Okay. So when you actually said that, it's the mindset that the people get. I feel that if you're getting that feeling of stuck somewhere, then it's a good thing that, okay, you're thinking something. If you're not thinking about it and you're just going with the flow, then you do not have any such mindset.
Absolutely.
If you feel you're stuck, then that's a problem. So now we will navigate his career through that path. So that person is stuck with the career. So now that kind of introspection or self-awareness, you'll have to question yourself and all that.
Correct.
How do you do that? How do we start with it? What is the root cause of it?
So there are multiple aspects to this, Sri Lakshmi, right? Why do you feel stuck? I think the once that awareness comes that, oh my God, I'm stuck, I think it's critical for people to take a pause and start understanding why do they feel stuck. Is it because financially they haven't grown as much as their expenses have or their kids have? Is that why you feel stuck? Because your current job can't pay for your lifestyle expenses anymore? Is that why you feel stuck? Do you feel stuck because you haven't learned anything new in the last 6 months or 1 year? And you're just repeatedly doing the same thing. Now you're just bored of it and you're tired of doing the same thing. Or because you suddenly realize there's so much more I could do with my life. And doing this and continuing down this pathway is probably where I'll be stuck. So it's important that people first identify where they're stuck. Because if it is the first one, which is finances, there are always better paying jobs. Right?
Yeah.
Of course, it won't come easy. You may have to upskill. You may have to do a lot more effort to be able to meet that target. That's one.
Yeah.
If you feel that you haven't learnt much and that's why you feel stuck, are there avenues that you could explore beyond the job?
Okay.
Right? Can you mentor a startup to begin with? You may not want to start up, but you can mentor a startup. Maybe that kind of activates your innovation and creativity and keeps you purposeful and happy. The third one, which is I want to do so much more, is probably what I call the growth zone.
Okay.
Right? Today, I am so busily telling everybody across the globe that before you think of jumping the ship, ask yourselves one question. Have you stretched your current job to its fullest potential? Right? Or are you busy doing just the same things that could be done in 9 hours because you're taking those extra breaks, because you want to talk to your colleagues, you want to have fun, and then you extend it to 14 hours, right? And now thinking, man, I have no scope for anything more on this job. Maybe then you need to learn better time management, find some time for yourself, upskill, and you can stretch your current job. If your primary motive is, I want to do so much more, that can happen where you are.
Superb. So, when you have said these reasons, the top 3 reasons, we would definitely recommend people to jot down what are the actual reasons, the root cause problem. Right. When I'm talking and thinking about the third one, especially, I could do more. Okay. So, no, this is the area when you said you're stuck in the same job, are you doing it to the full potential or not? Then people will figure out.
Absolutely.
But in the second scenario where I could do more, so what is that more? How do people figure out what is that more for them? Maybe few people can identify what is that more, but there are few people who would think that I can do more, but what is that? How to identify it?
Again, goes back to interest, skills, right? Passion. These are the generic cliched words that anybody would tell you. Okay. Very pragmatically thinking, in a very practical way, right? Every corporate job, the higher you grow, they make you realize you are the best, right? But trust me, you have a limitation. Your role has a scope. And no matter what you want to do, you have to do within those scope limitations that you have for your role.
Correct.
Right? And most of these are interdependent to other roles in the organization as well. Now, if I want to do more, and I want to do it because one, I want to grow personally, individually, but I also want to purposefully do something for the company or give some more value back, right? The third scenario I'm talking about. There's so much more you can do, right? Can you work with HR and train freshers, be a mentor to them so that their learning curve is faster, right? Yeah. Be a part of CSR initiatives that your organization is so proudly beating their chests on their websites and social media. Yeah. Can you be seen there? Because that's one amazing opportunity for you to network with your senior managers who otherwise don't give you time at work, right? Maybe that beach cleaning drive that you're doing is the opportunity for you to spend a full day with the CEO and have a conversation and learn from them, or even show the CEO how good you are, but stuck in a role limitation somewhere. Right? There are many that you could do.
Yeah. So probably if you want to do something within the organization, probably you'll have to go and approach the people and see where you can spread the wings.
Because the organization is paying you money for the role that they hired you for. They're not obligated to do anything more.
Okay.
Because essentially at the core, every job is a legal contract.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah.
Of course, they'll make it look like we are family, all of that. Some cultures are great. They do treat people like family.
Yeah.
Right? But most of the time, it's a for-profit business. They are in the game of business. They're not your family.
Then in the same mindset, then employees would also think, right, when I'm spreading my wings, either I should get some learning out of it, or I should be able to gain some monetary benefit. Right, these are the two aspects, either your learning or your financial growth. So in these terms, choosing the right one is totally depends on their mindset. How do you figure out?
I was once talking on a flight with a spiritual leader. He said something brilliant, and I know it's probably not connected to what you're asking, but there is a connection. Right? He said God doesn't always necessarily provide for your desires. He provides for your needs. Right?
Yeah.
In all probability.
Yeah.
Which means that financial jump you want in the organization, is it practical to the company's financial growth plan? Which means if they only give salary hikes once a year, you've just taken one, you're not happy with it, but you know this is a good company, you want more, you still have to wait 1 year.
Yeah,
Right?
definitely.
You can't expect another financial growth within the next 6 months. That's stupidity. So I think being matured about what is a policy, what's my practicality, because today the average hiring time for any organization is 3 to 6 months.
Yeah.
Which means even if by emotional quitting we call it, right? I'm done here, they didn't give me a great salary hike, you're still stuck here for 6 months. Because by the time you get another job opportunity, it will at least be 3 to 6 months.
Obviously, to get a job.
That is if you get it.
Get it. And if you get it, serving the notice period is also another big deal.
Exactly. So, got to be practical in life, right? If I'm anyway giving it 6 months, and then if I join a new company, it'll take me a year to establish myself.
Correct.
So, overall, net, I'm losing 1 year of my career. Instead of that, can I talk to my management? Can I figure out a way to draw that path to that financial growth that I'm expecting in the next 1 year? Keep my seniority in this organization. It's familiar territory. I know my stakeholders. I know everybody here. I'm probably equipping myself to grow faster here than some pseudo greener pasture just because I'm not happy with how I was treated here. So I think that is growth mindset, to kind of have that awareness and look at your career like a transaction, not a sentiment or an emotion, because it is not.
It is not. Absolutely a transaction, as you said. Yeah. So now, that's the ideology and the root cause that people will have.
Right.
So now, I want to pivot that to next level. What are the top 3 to 5 steps that you would recommend to start pivoting?
First is have conversation. There was a survey done by, I think, Glassdoor or somebody. 92% of all the people who claimed that they're leaving the organization because of their boss never even spoke to the boss about the problem. They felt something and started creating Christopher Nolan level stories in their head. Eventually, when you keep doing that in your head, it becomes your reality. Okay. So now you start believing that, you know what, I cannot work here. So the first step, every time you feel uncomfortable, and it need not always be negative. I want to thrive here. This is not what I want to do anymore. It's okay. People go through that. And organizations support that. A lot of organizations have career conversations. 90% of the employees don't take them seriously. But still complain that the company hasn't done enough to help me. Right?
Correct.
So the first step is to have the conversation. Second step is to evaluate. If I have to be practical, because every time I say you have to evaluate where you stand in your life, a lot of people are like, come on, Teja, how is it possible? It's very simple. For you, what do you consider growth? For most, it's that next level. So I say pick up that job advert. Right? On an Excel sheet, write down all the key skills required on that job And on the other side of the sheet, in another column, write down all the things that you've done beyond your job, in your current job, right? That can prove to you that you have all these skills. You get a gap analysis because of that. Absolutely transactional, absolutely practical. It's not emotional. Nobody is going to give you that promotion because you warmed the chair for 5 years on that role.
Absolutely.
Right? What's the impact of you warming that chair for 5 years? Are you able to substantiate it for the next role?
Exactly.
Right? So that's step 2. Once you've identified those gaps, go back and start exploring where you need to upskill. Talk to the people who are already in that level. Talk to people who are in that level in other companies. So that you know whether
how different they are doing it.
The grass may look yellowish here, but it is probably the greenest compared to that company. But you don't know that unless you talk to those people.
Correct.
Right? So these are the 4 steps perhaps that I would do. And the 5th one, and this is for me the most critical, Lakshmi, is to do self-check-ins every 15 days or 1 week, or depending on how sincere you are about your own career goals. Right? To look at your career like a GPS.
Okay.
So the beauty of GPS technology is not just in drawing out maps. The critical element of it is to feed it back to the satellite, your current position, real time.
Okay.
That's what makes GPS effective for your destination. So if I have put in Hyderabad to Bangalore in my Google Maps, the map is anyway there. I don't need GPS to just tell me here's the route.
Correct.
What makes GPS powerful is it is able to take my location feedback real time, every second, right, and feed it back to the satellite and me to say, here's the remaining distance, here's how much time it will take. Based on where you are, there is a traffic jam ahead.
Correct.
The criticality for all of that is your current location. And that is what most career professionals don't do. They have a clear sight of future. They don't know where the hell they are today, real time.
Okay.
And that's why self-check-ins are important. So you need to do that every week, every month, every day if required, depending on how big that goal is.
Definitely. That makes sense. When it comes to the organizations, at the organization level, we do build some kind of frameworks for this kind of growth plans for the employees. So now we are talking about an individual who is trying to grow from the crisis level to the next level. So now, in that case, what kind of a framework, because they'll be having no idea about what is a framework and then how does it work and all. If I'm an individual and if I have to draw a framework for myself, how do I do that? Do you have any pattern for that?
So there are different ways, different frameworks are there, and I'm not going to get into the polemics of it. There are multiple ones, right? Right from Gudluru's change curve, which also is applied in crisis sometimes because crisis brings change with it. To multiple ones are there in the market, right? What is critical, it seems to me, at least in my experience, is your ability to pause and ask questions. Right? Today, a lot of people struggle with crisis management in organizations, not because they don't have the knowledge, not because they're not equipped to handle crisis, because they don't ask the right questions. They don't question the processes, the procedures that are causing it. So for me, before anybody uses any framework, the critical skill in the world of AI today is how good are you at your prompts? Right? How good are you with your questions? For me, that's typical, critical, important in a crisis scenario. And two, once you're asking the right questions, you automatically know what to do. Right? Panic is reduced when you're asking the right questions.
There were scenarios where people do ask right questions and then the other person gives the right answer also. So now, how do you consume those answers? How do you patternize them? And then how do you implement them in your framework is also equally important. Absolutely. Is what I feel.
Absolutely.
So, please tell me, are there any scenarios in real time where people are stuck with somebody, an individual approached you and said that they are stuck at some point, and then how did you help them navigate that?
So, one, in terms of things that happen to people, crises, critical issues, the only question I usually give them as an example is COVID. Right? When the pandemic happened, nobody knew. I mean, The best of companies hired the best of resources from the market, IIMs, ISBs, Harvards, all sitting in the boardroom. Suddenly with a crisis where none of their employees could come to work, the business had to continue, but they had firewalls, data issues, data privacy issues, especially customer facing roles. Imagine banks and the back end payment processing, call centers, collections, all of that, which have live access to customer data. Now you have nobody running them, which means somebody had to resolve that crisis so that business would still continue. And most companies have backup locations like Philippines or India or somewhere.
Yeah.
Now everybody was sitting at home. The pandemic was everywhere. The lockdowns were everywhere.
Yeah.
What experience did these board members, all these expensive resources from ISBs, IIMs and Harvards have in this scenario?
No.
They must have studied 1500 frameworks in their IIM about crisis management. Which one of those people had experience of using any of those frameworks in the crisis?
Nothing. Situation taught them.
Absolutely. Frameworks are great when it is peacetime. Okay?
Rightly said.
At war, what matters is your awareness of the moment. Right?
Yeah.
So from that perspective, to your question, Lakshmi, the important point about how do I assess, take in, consume all that information is collaboration, is talking to people and being open to other people's ideas. Because usually when people ask a question, they already know what the answer is. But they are only reconfirming just for conformity rather than anything else. And in crisis, it becomes even more because your brain doesn't have the capacity or the faculties to learn something new in crisis. Usually the most default impulsive reaction of humans is to go back to what we already know because it takes lesser energy in crisis.
Absolutely.
So good people, good leaders train for crisis when there is no crisis. Right?
Correct.
Peacetime. So they try to look at scenarios, they try to encourage ideas of, now I know a lot of companies already have teams that gauge next time, let's say there's an attack and everybody have to be underground, what do we do? How do we handle it? So now there are specialist teams, crisis management teams that do this for especially critical processes for companies. Right? How do I fit in the framework? For me personally, is a wrong approach for leaders, because that's exactly what is traditional mindset. Today, things that are happening to us don't come in patterns. They're random.
They're seriously random.
Right? Anything can happen. Any problem, we don't know. Like, I'm here in textile industry, sitting here twiddling my thumb saying my business is going well. And come August 1st, I have to now bear with 25% tariffs. I'd never planned for it because it wasn't in the book for the last 10 years.
Absolutely.
Right? So now I shouldn't be fitting that into a framework that I know. I should be fitting this particular problem to a solution that I can find from others. So collaboration becomes important. I cannot deal with this alone. So the future of crisis management is collaboration.
Super, greatly said. So now we are talking about people who are stuck in the career, as you said. So now there are scenarios where people think, okay, I've already burned my candle on both the sides. Now I want to relax and then see what best I can do in the relaxation mode. How do I rebuild my career? How do I offload few of the work and all that? Because we find even such people, right?
Absolutely.
So if that's a scenario, how do you deal with it?
So a frog in the well can relax as much as it can. The max it will do relaxing is probably stick to the wall of the well.
Yeah.
Right? So it's important that you get out of the well. Right? See, physically, mentally relaxing is very different than career clarity. Of course, one can feed into the other, for sure. You know, if I'm mentally more relaxed, probably my ability to analyze where my career is going is higher. So one can feed into the other. But career clarity cannot be mixed with finding peace. They're two different things. Right?
Yeah.
Sometimes finding peace is to just continue to do what you're doing and not take stress. I've once met a person who said, I was trying to coach this person. I said, why aren't you showing any initiative? He said, I'm happy. I took a VRS from a bank I have money in the bank, but I couldn't sit idle at home. So I joined this organization. I don't want this drama. I'm happy retiring in the same role.
Huh.
I have maybe 5-10 years of my career left. I don't want to take the stress of leadership and all of that. I'm happy in this role.
Okay.
That's peace for me,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
But it need not be the same for a 24-year-old guy. So what
Yeah.
is important is to bifurcate these two. One can feed into the other, but let's not look at it together. That's one.
Yeah.
Two, if I need career clarity, what is important is destination. What is it that I want? So I need life clarity first. Right?
Correct.
There must be some deep reason why you're unhappy here. Is it the nature of the work? Is it the industry itself? Or do you have an undying passion of something else, but you're too scared because you have expenses? That happens to a lot of people. Like music can be that passion for some people. Animals and charity work like that sometimes is a passion for people. Unless they are doing that, they don't find themselves being purposeful in their life, full, wholesome in their life. Now they start blaming the job for it. Maybe you're just barking up the wrong tree, right?
I know you have articulated so well. People talk about work and life as different, but even your hobbies, passion, whatever you do as a side hustle, also, they all create an impact in each and everything.
Absolutely.
Because they overshadow each and
See,
every.
today the
role that
world
you
is
do.
all about balance, right? It's no longer about, also harmony, right? It's no longer about this or that, right? Why can't you have this and that and lead a
Absolutely.
beautiful life, right? Why does it have to be this or that?
Absolutely. Because if I relate to my personal life also, I do work. I mean, I pursue my hobbies. I still go to classes of dance, and then I do podcasting. So everything, whatever I'm doing here, it impacts the whatever you call
Absolutely.
on the other part of the side.
Yeah, and which is great because you're being purposeful about it. Because
Yeah.
one of the quotes that I always that I've written that I always keep saying is, only clowns juggle,
Huh.
right? Leaders and professionals focus,
Yeah.
which means as humans we can only concentrate on one task at a time. The fact of multitasking is a myth, right?
Yeah.
So even if I'm doing 100 things, at any point of time I can give my 100% only to one thing. That's how we are made as humans.
Correct. You
Right?
need to split that time.
Huh.
That's it.
So now where that 100, what those 100 things are you doing it because the society wants it, the job wants it, or somebody else wants it, or like what you're doing is your happiness that you've decided you will do, which is not exhausting. Sometimes maybe physically it may get
Physical
exhausting.
burnout is there, but that
Mentally you're always fresh because you're
Yeah.
doing what you're doing.
yes,
Now that doesn't mean you stop running your business. That's
Correct.
critical.
Yes.
That's your bread and butter.
yes,
But that may sometimes drain you and exhaust you. So how do I rejuvenate myself is to find what I love to do, where I thrive. That energizes me.
correct.
And you do that.
Yes, absolutely said. I think what we have spoken about a person's mid-career crisis and how do they figure out, how do they write down the things, and then how to come out of that comfort zone, and then build their own kind of framework and set career. You have said it very nicely.
And also, again, like I was saying, it's about the timeline that you're attaching to it. That is where people generally make great plans. Humans by design, I think we are amazing at thinking future. That's been one of our probably evolutionary advantages as well, right? Where most humans go wrong is the timelines they attach to it. Because we live in a world where we want everything fast. Some things take time. A human can deliver a baby in 9 months, but the baby requires 18 months to deliver another baby. 18 years
18
rather.
years.
At least,
yeah,
legally,
at least.
right? So that's the logic. Not everything is obvious. Not everything is so simple. Don't set targets so stringent, so aggressive that it ends up burning you out. right?
Correct.
If I want to do a startup because I'm not okay working for anyone anymore, great. Don't expect that to happen in 3 months. Plan for it, right? While you're still working on this, hire a team of freshers, students, right? Get some development done. It will probably take 6 months instead of 1 month, but do it.
Correct.
Test it out in the market. Ensure that you're 100% confident that people want to buy this, right? Then probably start to quit your job, because you're more like, what most people do is they'll quit and then they'll start working on it. And in those 6 to 8 months, they're already bankrupt. They don't have money, and financial stress is not great for entrepreneurship, right? It impacts your mental faculties. And this is how people have spoiled. In fact, in my initial part of my entrepreneurship, I did the same too. And today I don't want others to do it. If it is entrepreneurship, if it's a hobby that you want to learn, if you want to become fit, it is not this or that. I come back to this again. It is this and that.
And that.
That you need to plan.
So you can do this even when you're 50.
Absolutely.
But whatever the lessons that you have given, probably people might think that they wanted to experience and come to that point.
Absolutely.
But instead take lessons from the people who have already experienced it and then implement it.
Absolutely. If I want to move from one field to another field, find 100 people in that field that I can connect with, meet at least 10 of them in person.
Correct.
And after that, if you still want to go into that, then plan it out. Because about 30-40% of the time, you'll come back and say, no, I'm happy here. That looks like even more complicated.
Definitely. But before that, as you said, as a pilot, you can just give it a try, being in the current role itself, and then test it out.
Exactly. And especially at that age, there is no point of changing everything, at least for your family. They didn't sign up for that.
Yeah.
So you need to at least ensure that their lifestyle is not changing and nothing changes there. And then you are in a position to experiment and take risks. But you cannot risk their lives and careers.
Their lives and careers.
Exactly.
Wonderfully said. Great. Great, Mr. Teja. I think having insights from you is always fruitful for the audience, and then they will definitely learn something out of it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for
Thank you, ma'am.